Making financial decisions shouldn't feel like picking a TV show. Too many options, too much hype, and no way to know what's actually good. NerdWallet's Smart Money podcast cuts through the clutter. Their finance journalists break through real-world money decisions with clear research-backed insights. From investing to home buying to credit cards, the nerds help you navigate major financial decisions with confidence. Leave TV to fate. Leave your next financial move to the nerds. Follow NerdWallet's Smart Money podcast wherever you listen.
Brews and Banter.
Hey, Frank.
Crotch phone. Hi, Roman.
Frank is sticking a phone in his crotch.
So call it. You can buzz it. It's on vibrate.
We've done that already.
And we have Scott here.
Hello, Scott.
Hey, fellas. How are we?
This is our second time meeting, Scott.
Yeah, from Triphammer Bierwerks.
Yep.
We're going to crack open one of his beers. So thanks for coming back and seeing us. Did you find us okay?
I did. I mean, those map apps are really good.
Well, are you familiar with Baldwinsville?
No, first time, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of good stuff around here.
Welcome.
Yeah.
It's a small town.
I've been to Syracuse a bunch, but never Baldwinsville.
It's a small, big town.
Motherfucker. I already fucked this up, Roman. Look at that thing.
And Scott brought us these gifts. I think they're called butt plug glasses.
What's the official name of them?
These are Spiegelau IPA glasses.
Oh, yeah. Spiegelau.
I believe the owner of Dogfish Head and dude from Sam Adams a few years ago got together and had these designed especially for IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The butt pluggy part at the bottom supposedly allows the bubbles and the aroma to come up, and the way the top of the glass comes close again, narrow, brings the aroma back up, supposedly.
Butt pluggy.
Well,
I just think they look funny, that's all. I mean, I love drinking out of it.
Yeah.
Frank took...
They're made out of crystal, so don't use them as that. It'll probably break.
Challenge accepted.
Frank is level 1.
I'm a certified beer. So last time we spoke, I was going to do this thing. So then I took that. So now I'm a certified beer server. I didn't go to any further than that.
Cicerone?
No.
Level 1?
No.
Oh, server.
This is server, yeah.
You're a waitress.
He's level...
I'm a sexy waitress.
He's a beer bitch.
But it's, I'm a beer wench. But it's a lot of time. It's pretty fucking involved, So, and I think, there's some people, I think there's like level 3 is the highest. I think there's only like 5 people in the world that have that.
Actually, there's a distributor in New York State called Remarkable Liquids, and their owner is level 3.
Yeah.
He's one of the handful of level 3 in the country.
Yeah, I think that's...
he's up there.
Like level 3, I think it's in the world. I mean, I think that's the highest you can go. I don't think there's level 4. But either way, yeah. So I can just serve you shit and talk about it a little bit.
And that is Cicerone.
Yeah. Right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, fellas.
Don't break the butt pluggy.
Delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell people history behind the name?
Behind Triphammer? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
Behind your name, Scott.
Well,
No, Scott. My mom's name was, and my dad...
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you were talking about Hammerfall that you're drinking or Moss Hazy.
Just what the name means. Some people might not know that, and there's a little part of the mechanism of the art on the can.
I grew up in the Midwest. My wife brought me to Western New York, and I was going through name after name, and a distillery would have the name in some other part of the country, or somebody else locally was going to open up with like the last name that I had. And actually the name that I had landed on, it was going to be Hard Road Brewing, because it was a hard road trying to get open. And 6 months from when I was going to open up, social media, some local guys were going to open up a Long Road Brewing over in the Rochester area. And they were trying to raise money, and so I sent them a nice email and said, hey, man, good luck. I said, but I'm funded, and I'm going to open up within 6 months, and I'm going to be called Hard Road. And there are other road name breweries around the country, but I'm like, in the same county, that might be kind of confusing. I said, and, you guys haven't even got any money yet, so you might want to think about a different name. And they politely said, no, we like the name, we're keeping it. I was like, all right. Fuckers. I said, okay. And I liked the name, but I wasn't in love with it. And so another thing is there's a couple of places in Rochester, the old Triphammer Forge, and I was always curious what a Triphammer was. And around waterfalls used to be mills and forges that would use what was called a trip hammer. It was a hammer powered by a water wheel. The water wheel would go around, pick the hammer up, and trip it. And it'd either pound grain with it or pound iron. Mm-hmm. And I'm from the Midwest where it's flat. We have no waterfalls. We have no trip hammers.
Yeah.
We have a lot of waterfalls in western New York. Down in Cornell, they have Trip Hammer Falls. There's a Trip Hammer Road in Avon, New York, small town. And in Rochester, they had the old Trip Hammer Forge downtown by High Falls, right across from Genesee Brewery. And I'm like, dude, and there used to be this Trip Hammer Bar and Grill that closed in 2009. And so I'm like, what's a trip hammer? I looked into it. I liked what it was. It was a big hammer that just kept going. It just kept pounding in it. And it was also kind of Western New York-y without jumping out and saying I'm from Western New York, because I'm not. I live there, but I grew up somewhere else. And so I just dug it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And the fun part is, or not, two things about that name is I've been open 9 years now, and I still have people thinking that I'm a part of that bar and grill that closed in 2009.
Oh, okay, sure.
So that still happens. Or people think I'm from Ithaca because of Trip Hammer Falls and Trip Hammer Road down there, and they have a Trip Hammer shopping mall. And I'm like, no, I wish I lived in Ithaca. I said, but I'm not. And then they're like, what is it? You make that name up? And I'm like, all right, let me give you some history, some background of where you're from.
Do you have any... I like the name because it goes well with the facility, the brewery. It's very industrial. Mm-hmm. Tell people what your building is, because it's kind of historic.
Well, we're in Fairport, New York, which is a suburb of Rochester, right off the Erie Canal. Since it's a port, every port in New York is on the Erie Canal, feels like. And so, no, the building we're in is about a 5-block long building. It's the original American can. So 1904, this dude in Rochester, Fairport came up with the first sanitary can, and they made cans there all the way up until 1990. And where I'm from in Illinois, we actually had an American can. We had 2 different American can buildings within 40 miles of my hometown. And so it was a nationwide company. And in 1933, or whenever at the end of Prohibition, the very first beer can made in the United States was made in that building.
Nice.
American Can made the first beer can for, it was called Kruger's in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. They developed it in Rochester. I don't know if they really made it in Fairport or if they made it down in New Jersey at the American Can down there, but the company made the very first beer can in the U.S. And so...
That's excellent history, yeah.
Well, the Trip Hammer name and the industrial-looking building, I think it just kind of bonds well. Like, it goes together.
Oh, thanks. I think it works.
And it's on a canal, too.
Mm-hmm. There's plenty of parking, and it's nice and spacious inside. And,
We met Scott first time. Well, we met Scott at one of the events. I think was it on
it was Amazing Beer Fest.
Amazing Beer Fest.
Yeah.
And then
2 years ago
in Syracuse. Yeah.
We interviewed Scott at his brewery, and he gave us a tour, and that was amazing time. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool town.
Oh no, it's if you've come to Rochester, Fairport's a beautiful little village on the canal. It's they say walkable. You can park and then walk all over the village. Bunch of different places to drink. We have 4 breweries now, a distillery, a bunch of restaurants. So no, it's a cool place.
And that building really is 5 blocks long. It's a long building because when we were using this app that has a map, and I was like, you know what? I feel like we need to be on the other side of this building.
We were on the other.
Frank's like, are you sure? That's a long way back.
Well, the address to the building is the back.
Yeah.
Because where you came into my tap room and where the parking lot is, back in 1990, that was a rail yard because they pulled trains up to the side of the building to load it with cans. And so they've never named that street. So I've tried to get Google to change the directions for 9 years. And so I finally just put a sign out in back and said, other side.
Well, like Trip Hammer Boulevard or something.
Other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I figured out that if the town names a street, then the town has to take care of it.
Yeah. That was exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you say. You're in the wrong spot. You're in the rear, naughty people. Get out of the rear. Yep. I got a glass for you.
So that was pretty cool experience. The brewery, the building, the history, and we had a lot of fun.
Oh, I had a great time.
We had a long.
Yeah, that's an efficient process. We drank a lot of beers.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, fucking! Was Megan? Megan was there.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah?
Yep, she's still there.
She's still there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a flight just kept coming and coming. Like, all right, we're cool with that.
Well, we got like 12 things on tap, so you had to try all
It was
of them.
good beer. It's phenomenal beer. You can see this here, and yeah, we talked a little bit about some of what you offer, but you got a little bit of everything. You got sours. So you were doing, are you looking at hop water before? Or?
Oh, we have a hop water on tap.
Yeah, that you're making. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were. So we talked about that at our interview at your place.
What's the process of that? Like, you just extract all the alcohol out, and then what?
Of hop water?
Yeah. Like,
Oh no, you don't. It's not brewed beer.
what is
make
it?
alcohol.
It's water with hops in it.
Like
That's it.
like infused water with fruit. It's just infused with hops.
Like, you throw lemons in the water. You throw hops in it.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's simple, but it's not simple. It's simple if you want to taste something harsh and nasty. If you want it to taste good, then there are some steps you have to do. You have to lower the pH. You want it to be citrusy. So I add a little lime juice. You got to be careful because since there's no alcohol, it should if it leaves your place, like I'll never put it in cans and sell it to anybody because then you need to
Get your label approved and all that stuff, or no?
well, you got to do no because there's no
not
alcohol.
Yeah, right.
No alcohol in it. But you have to what is it when you make something really hot and then make it cold? Beer, milk,
Condense?
Pasteurize. That's the word.
I was going to say like AI model. I don't know.
No, you got to
Make it really hot.
You got to pasteurize it. We don't have to pasteurize beer because there's alcohol in
see.
it. Alcohol keeps the bugs down. Nothing gets in. It's a preservative.
Yep.
But in my tap room, I have it on tap for anybody who wants something, a non-alcoholic option. And it was funny. I had a guy come in. He goes, "Oh, I had this at another brewery. Tasted like crap." I said, "I've had theirs." I said, "It tastes pretty good." He goes, "Doesn't taste like beer." I said, "It's not beer."
Right. Right.
He goes, "But it's got hops in it." I said, "Not beer."
Right. Right.
He goes, "It doesn't taste like beer." And I was going to give him a glass of it, and I pulled it back, and I'm like, "No, this doesn't taste like beer either."
Yeah.
Okay. And he just said, "Look." I'm like, "It's not a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a soda water with some hop taste to it."
Yeah.
Flavor, yeah.
And that's it.
I've never had it, but the hops, I bet, is just it's what hops taste like. But how would you describe hops to someone who doesn't drink beer? Like, how would they know if you never had a beer?
It has a little bitterness.
Different hops taste differently. Some are citrusy,
Right.
some are piney, some are dank. The dank, marijuana type. Some are earthy. So it really depends. And
Okay.
so if somebody really is like, they're like, "Well, I don't know what hops taste like." It's like, all right, taste this hop water because that's all it tastes like. I mean, you got a little citrusy in there, but and you don't overdo it because if you overdo it and you have nothing backing it up with like the malt or alcohol or anything like that, it can be unpleasant. But if you just do it a little bit and you know what you're expecting,
And
it's a nice alternative. It keeps me from drinking beer every day.
There's a few hundred different types of hops, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say a few hundred.
Maybe over 200 though.
Maybe closer to 100.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
See, that's shit the Cicerone knows, not the
You don't know
beer server.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's really only so many.
Yeah.
I mean, they're grown all over the world, but there's some other are very similar strains. They're coming out with new ones every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if there's 100, I would be shocked.
I was surprised to learn that in Syracuse, we were at one point like really big into hops. It was like a really big hops thing, and then something happened, and then they started moving the shit out. Or something.
New York is too humid.
Yeah.
So they had a issue with downy mildew that started wiping out the hop crops.
Mm-hmm.
And even though hops are perennial and they grow back every year, you don't get a full crop until year 3.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 years you're getting hops, but not that many.
Yeah, so your yield is low. Right.
So your yield is low. So if and way back when, they didn't know how to combat downy mildew and the humidity. So when people started heading west and they finally found Western Oregon and Washington and Idaho, which
Citra and all that bullshit, right?
Yeah, but I mean when they found a place that was dry, not humid, they found better places that are more hospitable to growing hops.
Yep.
And so that's what happened. People just found another place. I mean, there are hops that they'll grow here now, and Cornell does a big thing about really working with farmers and brewers to try to, if you're going to grow hops in New York, here's how you do it so you don't have that problem.
Chong, our friend Chong, who has a farm, or maybe they still do hops. You know, they say they have these tall telephone poles.
Yeah. Well, we went out and saw Chong. It was about a month after we interviewed Scott. And I don't think the hops farm they had it there. It had either not started or they stopped doing it because there was nothing on them. I can't remember what the story was, but we have a friend that he works.
What time of the year was it?
It was fall.
Oh, either they just cut them down
Yeah.
and harvested them, or he's not doing it.
Right. And he has some affiliation with the agricultural part of Cornell thing.
Yeah, their farm is like a test farm. So there'll be either they would like train people how to farm or, you know, grow certain crops.
Yeah, how to learn in this environment, how to grow.
So like if a company out of, I don't know, Czechoslovakia wanted to come over and test out growing hops in New York. So that's where they would come and
Ooh, get the dollars out, Rowan. See that?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. The hard part about New York is not all hop varieties will grow here.
Yeah.
And so they're having a hard, what I believe the difficult part is like Citra, Mosaic, El Dorado, all, Galaxy, they don't grow here. And so to try to find those sexy citrusy hops that people are throwing into hazy IPAs that will grow in New York and grow well, I think that's something they're working on that they might be having a little bit of difficulty with.
I think Mosaic hops really fucked me up.
So you're drinking something different. We'll talk about these two beers, but and you're talking about the hop burn. But I get zero of that with this beer, this particular beer. So what hops is in this one?
That is
the most hazy.
most hazy.
Yeah.
It's cashmere and it's on the can.
So yeah,
It's only two.
what makes it? I know this answer, but I'm an idiot right now. Just right now.
You had some beer.
No, what's the what makes it New England versus like a West Coast?
Oh, Idaho 7.
Okay.
Idaho, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, well, you should know that.
I should know it. I make it. Oh man, I'm losing words as I get older.
I'm there. I'm with you.
I just turned 55, and I'm like,
Oh, I'm not that fucking old.
yeah,
Like it's that much. Asshole.
I know, right?
Roman's still a baby. But this is so there's no hot burn, but so West Coast hazy IPA versus the most hazy New England IPA.
Well, the simple way to put it between a hazy IPA and a West Coast is not the hops; it's where you put them in the process. And so, up until hazy IPAs came in, now hops, what they do is if you just did not put any hops whatsoever into a beer, it's too cloying, too sweet. Hops are just the bitterness that kind of balances it out. And then over time and decades and centuries, some people like a lot of hops. Some people like no hops. Like my Hefeweizen has 3 pounds of hops in a 15-barrel batch. My Triphammer IPA has 45 pounds of hops in it.
I see.
Right. That has 45 pounds of hops in it, and so, et cetera, depending on the beer you're making. But the difference between a West Coast and a hazy, just a simple way, is while you're boiling, you put hops in during the boil of a West Coast. You put a lot in at first, and the longer it boils, the more bitter it is. You know that bitterness you get on the back of your tongue, that pininess with a West Coast? That's because when you started boiling your what's called wort or beer to clean it, you throw hops in at the very beginning. And the more you throw in and the kinds you throw in, it could be more bitter. When people talk about how bitter beer is, it could be a piney bitterness, a citrusy bitterness, but it's bitterness. So probably within the last 15, I don't know who really started it. I'm a big fan of Hetty Topper, the alchemist. He puts a ton of hops in at the very beginning and then nothing again until after it's done boiling. And then he has this huge fruity beer with some bitterness to it. And then somebody else on the East Coast, that's why they call it a Northeast IPA or hazy IPA. Some people like to think Treehouse did it or Trillium or somebody along that line. They're like, when they were home brewers, they're like, so what would happen if we put no hops in the boil? When
introduce it later.
Yeah, introduce it later. Because when you boil it, hops have acids in them, alpha acids, beta acids, and when it boils longer, it isomerizes where you get more bitterness out of the hop, etc. And so these guys were like, because homebrewers just try things.
Yeah.
And so these guys, at least I know Treehouse did, they're like, so what happens if you don't boil it? If we throw it in during the whirlpool where it's hot, but it's not boiling? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, what happened if we just skip that and just dry hop the crap out of it? You know, when it's done fermenting and it's at 68 degrees or 65 degrees, it's not at 220, what's that going to do? Mm-hmm. And they discovered you get this amazing amount of citrusy, smooth. You don't get that bitterness on the back of your tongue. And it was an entirely new beer because old school brewers are like, that's crazy. You don't do that. You throw hops in where you're supposed to. Mm-hmm. And let me see, Treehouse went from a 5-barrel brew house to a 30-barrel brew house in 2 years to a 60-barrel brew house to they just built a brewery in Saratoga Springs.
Right.
They're out on the Cape. You know, I went there and I bought hops off them once, and the owner showed me around. The place is amazing.
We went to the Deerfield one, Massachusetts.
Yeah?
Last year, yeah.
The original one? Or
this is like a college campus one.
Who knows?
They got a huge outdoor thing for like bands and shit, like a whole. Yeah.
Is that the one like 5 minutes off the interstate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
They do annual half marathons.
Yeah. That's kind of they got big and then they started adding things.
Me and you were too old to do that, but not Roman.
But, and that place is amazing. They have a YMCA level gym that you can't see underneath the tap room.
Oh, interesting.
Because they like to lift the weights, they say. And I'm like,
okay,
good for you.
Yeah.
I got to do something, I suppose. I'll do this while they're
I'm
doing
like,
that.
how's it feel to sleep with a bed of cash? That's what I want to know.
Pretty fucking comfortable. Your pillow's made of thousands.
Yeah, I was there on a Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and they had a line out the door. Mm-hmm. We walked by.
Yeah, Wednesday, right?
We walked by their bar, and I'm like, so when do you open up your bar? And the guy's like, when we slow down. I'm like, when's that happen? He goes, not often.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you.
Well, their process is a bit weird. You get these tickets and shit. It's kind of weird to me. I mean, people love it.
It's just they're so busy.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
But I'd rather just...
They're the unicorn, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them. Other halves like that, too.
Yeah.
You know, good for them. And so a hazy is, you know, all of a sudden, I mean, you guys probably remember this. 10 years ago... half the people liked IPAs and half people hated them. Mm-hmm. You either loved them or hated them because you didn't want that bitterness.
I used to hate it.
That's too That's too bitter. That's too bitter. All of a sudden, we come out with an IPA that has no bitterness. Now you got this big chunk of people who are like, hey, I'm an IPA drinker now.
Right. So that's Republican, Democrat, and Independent.
There you go.
You know, and I don't really. I mean, I'll drink it all, right? And I'll at least finish a beer unless it's skunked for some reason. But whatever I have, and we've done this, but the dank is a little tough for me because you know I'm not a marijuana guy, and you know if that's the flavor. But the bitter is just changing my palate now. I don't really like so much bitter anymore. I mean, like I said, I'll drink it, but if I can choose to get something else, that's what I'm going with. But this is not that way. This is not bitter. It's not super bitter, yeah.
No, that's our straight hazy.
Yeah.
So no hops are put in that in the boil or even in the whirlpool.
So that's towards the...
This is at the very end.
Yeah.
It's like when it's done fermenting, then we throw in a bunch of hops. Mm-hmm.
And do one of them add orange juice? One of these IPAs?
So, no. We've been using on some of our IPAs a Norwegian yeast. Have you heard of Kvik yeast?
No.
Mm-hmm. So...
I've heard of some dirty Norwegian women. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
Well, lucky for me, I found out about the yeast and not the women. If you could point me that way.
And hopefully it's not their yeast.
Maybe it is.
It's probably just Russian now because they're so close to the border.
It's hardy and it can make it through some very rough times. Maybe it is.
The bad winters.
So anyway, so a few years ago, you know, and home brewers are great. You know, I was a home brewer for 10 years while I was trying to open up my place. And they're great for experimentation or something new. You know, they're like, oh, we'll try it first because, you know, why not? You're sitting at home making 5 gallons. Try something new. So some yeast strains came out of Norway, and they're called Kvik yeast. There's like, honestly, I don't know how many strains. There might be 6, there might be 8, there might be less or more. And the amazing thing about these yeasts is they don't need any temperature control. They don't need it. So like my house yeast for my Triphammer IPA, I want to ferment that at 70 degrees, not 75, not 65. And so I have to control the temperature of the tank, you know, with glycol and everything. and if I let it get up to 95, it would taste like fingernail polish.
Okay.
The yeast just couldn't handle it. That's not the optimal temperature range for that yeast. Lager yeasts are go even colder, 50, 52, 54 degrees for if you want to make a lager. And so these Kvikis came out, and people are like, you do not need temperature control. I'm like, what? And it's fermenting in like 2 days instead of a week or a month. I'm like, what? And so I first tried one a few years ago. I made a triple IPA, the Four Bunnies of the Apocalypse. And
I love that thing.
I do too. I'll tell you that story later. But it was an 11% beer. It fermented in 2 days. It said, let it go. The temperature got up to 104.
Wow.
To where I was pulling samples going, this is going to
With that yeast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says turn off your temperature control and just let it go. I'm like, all right. Hope this doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And pulling a sample, it's really warm, and I'm like, this is going to taste like fingernail polish. And I took a sip of the sample, and I'm like, well, that doesn't taste bad. That tastes awesome. And it kind of gives off a little orangey background.
Yeah, okay.
This strain. I haven't used any of the other ones yet, but so we made Three Bunnies of the Apocalypse, and then when I came out with the Moss Hazy, I'm like, I'm going to put it in there. What's this going to be like because that was a triple West Coast IPA, had a lot of bitterness in it, and it really balanced the bitterness with the orange and everything else. And so when I made the Moss Hazy, I'm like, it added something to it. It's a smooth, more citrus than what the hops really are. And it fermented in like 2 or 3 days. Matter of fact, I even make the Hammerfall with it now. So they're called Kvikis, and people are really getting into them. For example, my Triphammer IPA, I can brew it and serve it in 3 weeks. Hefeweizen 2 weeks. A lager 2 months. Yeah. We had another brewery in town does a cream ale fest, and I was late.
We did a cream ale. Oh, we didn't do a pound-a-thon, but we did the.
We used to know.
What did we call it?
We did.
It was a cream-a-thon. We had a cream-a-thon. So it was misconstrued at first by some of our listeners as to what this was about. But
yeah, there you go.
But I love the cream ale. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. And so I was kind of late on making one, and I'm like, okay. So I literally made a cream ale, and cream ales are very simple beers. It's the America's answer to Pilsner with the addition of corn. And so I brewed it on a Saturday. I served it the next Saturday at this cream ale fest. So within 7 days, brewed to serving, and I'm giving it to other brewery owners and employees from other breweries going, so what do you think? Oh, it's really good. It's really good. I'm like, when do you think I made that? I don't know, 3 weeks ago? I'm like, last Saturday.
Yeah.
What's the reaction?
They're like, get out. I'm like, I am not lying. I said, it's these Kvikis. I said, try them out. I mean, I think they're cool as shit. And
This shit is just, it's really, I mean, we can make a whole day out of this thing. This is fascinating to me, just because I come from a scientific background in a previous life, but you're basically a scientist, right? You're just trying shit, you write it all down, because you got to remember what you did.
Mm-hmm. If you want to make it twice.
Right. But
if you want to make it once, just fucking throw it in there.
But you don't care on the cost end. You don't give a shit what you're spending as far as, is this yeast, I mean, how does it work? When you're selling a beer, right? When you got a beer, you don't care how much it costs to make that beer, as long as you can sell the beer. I mean, that's business 101, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you see $25 4-packs. That's why you see $20 4-packs. Some places that use an amazing amount of fruit. Fruit's expensive.
Right.
Hazies cost more because another byproduct of the way we use hops in the hazies is you have to use more. Mm-hmm. And so 10 years ago, if you used a pound of hops per barrel on a West Coast IPA, you're like, oh, shit, that's a lot of hops. We're doing 3 pounds per barrel, 4 pounds per barrel. Yeah. People are doubling and tripling the amount of hops they're putting in. And so, no, you're not going to get a $9 4-pack of a hazy IPA. Right. And so...
But as long as it sells, you're making it. I mean, I get it.
People buy it, yeah.
But you don't give a fuck if you're spending, if the cost of your beer goes up $4 per can because you're using so much of a certain expensive hops,
if
as
that's
long as
what-
it sells, right?
If that's what you want to make.
Yeah.
I mean, I intentionally stay away from the heavily fruited stuff. Not because of the cost, just because that's not something I drink or anything. But no, I mean, once Treehouse and Trillium and Other Half started selling these beers for those prices, then you saw everybody else going, "Oh, people will pay that?
Yeah.
All right."
Right.
Yeah, but the product has to kind of match the price, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Like,
totally agree.
it's what this podcast is about. Like the product has to match. Like Roman's fucking cheap. I'm expensive. So that's what
You're just a fucking server. Come down.
The cheap guy at my place is my partner, not me.
Scott needs a beer, right? For sure.
Well, before we do that, you want to do a
Yeah.
quick...
Let's take a break while Scott
ad
refills.
break,
I'm
and
going to get
then-
the crotch phone out.
and then we can refill right after that.
All right. Are you a brewery owner or a business looking to hire? If you want to bring in the best talent to help your team grow, we've got the perfect solution for you. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites with just one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anyone else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by all businesses to find out the most qualified candidates with immediate results. And right now, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. That's ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. One more time, to try for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/podcast. All right, we're back.
Scott, you got it refilled already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks like pee.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, we were talking about yeast earlier, and it's
That's
interesting.
a lager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting you picked that beer because we interviewed the owners, and they've been trying to find their original beer from, what was it, 1850,
So they started in like
1858? Or
somewhere around there, yeah. And then went made through Prohibition, all these other things, and sort of they bought they merged with another brewery out towards Rochester, and then they closed in like the 60s or something like that.
Yeah. So now they're brewing again, not locally, unfortunately, but and
So that brand name was...
it's from here originally, from
Oh, so
Syracuse.
that's an old name from an old brewery.
That brand name, I believe, we did the math. I think that brand name, and we can mention it, but I think that brand name would be the oldest brewery in America if it was still continuously operating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like
yeah,
here, like right near us.
You know,
name
older than Yingling?
Yeah. How old's Yingling?
I don't know, but it's the oldest one.
I think, but they're oldest now because Anchor Brewing's gone. Because it was Anchor Brewing.
Was it?
Yeah, in California out that way.
Anchor
right?
Brewing was 120 some years.
Yeah. So I think these guys, if they started in 1858
58. I think.
or 68, that'd make them that many years old, whatever that math
If
is.
they were continuous, if they didn't.
So they're trying to find their original yeast?
So they did.
So yeah, go ahead.
Oh, they did.
So they bought a can off eBay or something.
They found
Someone-
something with stuff in it. So
They submitted to a lab, and after multiple attempts, failing, and at this point they were like, "All right, this is the last time we're going to try it. If it fails, it fails." And there was a scientist who was able to get the original yeast, and now they're brewing with the original yeast from back then.
because it was really popular in
You were
in
drinking
Syracuse.
history,
Yeah.
and we were. I like that we're talking about yeast.
We all talk about that. I mean,
You picked that beer, and I was like, "How interesting is that?" Because I got to mention it.
but we talk about your site. We talk about American Can. Like we, I mean, we may have mentioned this before, but we're just into the. We like people, interesting people, and we like the stories and the history behind it.
I just got lucky with my building. I was looking for cheap rent and high ceilings.
Yeah.
And I found out later about the beer can. But my brother back in Illinois went to a beer can show. And he found a Kruger's beer can from the 50s that was made in Fairport in that building. And while he was talking, we went to a bunch of different desks or tables, and they're all like, "Why are you looking for Kruger's?" He goes, my brother opened up a brewery in Fairport, New York, and some beer can nerds went, "Your brother opened a brewery in American Can #1?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's cool."
Yeah.
And my brother told me, and I'm like, yeah, don't tell him I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fucking great. Like someone was here. Someone was here before you showed up. Just someone we went to a thing at Budweiser a week and a half ago. It was a chamber event, a Ballsville chamber event. We had a raffle. Someone won something. They came here, and I was telling them that story.
Yeah,
but I couldn't remember exactly. I mean, I know I was calling American Canning, but I couldn't remember exactly what the story was with your brother in Illinois. But I mentioned to her that, but like all that shit. So by the way, it was Donna. Mm-hmm. She has, she had a garage in her backyard in Baldwinsville, and right next to her garage was someone else that was doing, it was like Baldwinsville bottling. She destroyed her barn to make room for an expansion. And in her barn, she finds original Baldwinsville bottling bottles unbroken.
That's pretty cool.
But like just the history is just cool. I mean,
oh yeah,
whatever. It's like you like cars, we like beer, we like history, and we like Norwegians with yeast infections.
Frankish, correction. Scott, you mentioned a name of a beer, Four Bunnies Surviving Apocalypse.
The Four Bunnies of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I want to know more about that name, and also, I know the history, but you can also tell listeners about the Uniduckapus.
What do you?
Can I get that actually? I want to drink.
Which one is this?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I can show the can art.
And then I will also mention that I'll remember what the name of it is, and I don't want to fuck it up. So you guys go on. You guys go on with your story.
Tell this story first about the name behind this.
Okay, the first thing that's our sour series. It's called the Uniduckapus. Mm-hmm. And when I first opened in 2016, I am not a sour drinker, and that was before the fruited sours really started hitting. It was just straight sours, and I'd have people come in going, "When are you making a sour?" I'm like, "Never." Like, I didn't get into this to make sours, but the sours weren't big yet,
Mm-hmm.
And more and more people came in, and I'm like, I don't want to make something that tastes like pickle juice. What are your socks? I'm like,
we've never had one of those either. A pickle beer, apparently.
Yeah.
Wait, we didn't?
No, we've never had pickle beer. No,
I've had it. Tastes like pickle juice.
You don't make it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Somebody else in Rochester made one.
Yeah.
But
can you grab it?
Yeah.
So a bunch of years ago, when my daughter was 8, she came home with this picture that she drew in school. They were supposed to put a bunch of animals together, and I'm like, "What is that?" She goes, "Well, it's a uniduckapus. It's a unicorn, a duck, and an octopus." And I'm like, "That is cute as shit." And then I was thinking in my head, I'm like, "And that's a beer name." I'm like, "Oh man." I said, because if you're not going to go through all this work to open a brewery and have some fun with it a little bit, then I mean, it makes some of the hard days better. And so I'm like, "Oh, what could it be?" I'm like, "Well, it's not an IPA. It's not a lager." I'm like, "Ah, shit, I got to make a sour."
It's a sour name.
Unisourpuss.
Well, and so I put a lot of work into it. We like it. We think we call it an approachable sour, where it's more tart than toe curling sour. So it's nice. But that's the raspberry. We have the Uniduckapus peach that I call the Uniducka peach, but it's the Uniduckapus peach. So that's where the Uniduckapus came from. And actually, just 2 weeks ago, we had a beer release. Every year around Easter, my daughter came home with another picture of 4 bunnies stacked on top of each other. And I asked her, I was like, "What is that?" She goes, "Well, it's just a stack of bunnies." I'm like,
"Motherfucker, I got to make another beer now."
It's a beer. I'm like, "That's an IPA, though."
Yeah.
And so just 2 weeks ago, we did a very small batch. We do it every spring called the Stack of Bunnies. It's a hazy IPA. Very popular. And then over the pandemic, I was just sitting around with it going, what? And then I was going to make this triple IPA, and I'm like, what am I going to call it? And I was looking at the Stack of Bunnies, and I thought of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I was like, the 4 Bunnies of the Apocalypse. And so we put a story behind it. And my niece is a graphic artist. And at the time, she was working for Marvel in New York City.
Oh, nice.
She actually did my logo and everything. She's
great.
Very talented. And she's into the Japanese cartoon.
Oh, anime.
And Marvel and all this stuff. She's
That's
very,
great.
very talented. And so I sent the picture of the Stack of Bunnies to her. And I was like, hey, I said, could you turn these 4 into superheroes? for me? I'm going to call them the 4 bunnies of the apocalypse. She goes, sure. So she sent me back this picture of 4 bunnies. You know, one's got a cape. One's huge like the Hulk. One has carrots coming out of her hand, like Wolverine, you know. And I said, okay, that's cool. And I'm like, these guys got to have a backstory.
Yeah.
So the backstory for the 4 bunnies of the apocalypse is, so these 4 bunnies who live in a hop yard, unbeknownst to them, there is a radioactive meteor from an exploded planet, a destroyed planet called Hopsalonia 5.
Of course, yeah.
Turns these 4 cute bunnies into the 4 bunnies of the apocalypse. And now the names of the bunnies is Alpha Bunny for alpha acids that are in hops, Beta Bunny for beta acids that are in hops, Lupulin for lupulin, which is the yellow pollen on the hops. Mm-hmm. And then the 4th one is Ed for my neighbor. The big one, the big one's Ed.
Yeah.
And so
Ed the Hulk.
Ed the Hulk, yeah.
Man, they could have a series.
And then the idea was that each bunny was going to get their own different IPA. We just never really got into that
Yet.
Yeah.
You
know, give us time.
Disney, contact Scott.
So you know what's funny is we have 4 baby bunnies in our backyard now. Oh. I'm not kidding. Just in the last week, and we're looking out, and my kids are teenagers now, and they're like, I was like, oh, we got to name them. They're like, no, we can't name them. I'm like, we got to name them. And I was in another room, and they're like, what are we going to name them? And I went, I know, they're the 4 bunnies of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, you got to name them because then you know you don't eat them. That's what people do with their, you know, like on the farms. Like once you name the pet, you don't eat
name
it.
farm animals.
Yep.
So sorry, on a different topic. I got a rock. That's my beer.
Or pumpkin ale.
That's my favorite pumpkin ale that I've had.
I was never a big fan of pumpkin flavored stuff.
But he's not overwhelming. This one.
Yeah.
No, it's my favorite pumpkin.
Because we were there, so that's when we saw you. Like it'd be 2 years. So it's a year and a half ago. It was around October time we came to your place.
Oh yeah, so we had that on.
That's why. So when you brew that?
I try to avoid the pumpkin beers in July, but someone's got to be first. Every time someone comes out and beats pumpkin, pumpkin's going to be earlier.
Yeah.
Someone does May pumpkin. I wouldn't be shocked in a couple of years if we don't have pumpkin beers in April.
No, this is fucking Christmas decorations at the retail stores.
Exactly.
You start getting early July, Christmas shit's out.
You know, when I used to make a lot of it and it was on store shelves, it would sell out quickly. But they're like, hey, we need this in July. I'm like, no. I said, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I would give it to them in, not October, but, before it's into September. Because you know what? All the ones that come out in July are already gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then people are actually ready for one at that time. And so, again, my kids drew this picture.
That's right.
My son drew a picture of a pumpkin patch that was in my bedroom for years. And we made the pumpkin beer, and I was trying to think of a name for it. And I walked past this picture, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I had my daughter come in. I'm like, can you take a piece of chalk and draw a Charlie Brown ghost with a bunch of holes on it? She goes, sure. And they're like, what's the name of it? I'm like, I got a rock. Mm-hmm. Okay. You know how much fun it is when people come in and go, where'd that name come from? I'm like, don't you watch Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
And anybody under the age of 30 has no idea what I'm talking about. If you're 45 and above, 50% of them get it. Right. And then I'm like, don't you remember when he goes trick-or-treating? Yep. And everyone's like, what'd you get? And he goes, I got a rock.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, that's my favorite pumpkin beer, but it's, you got to tell your kids to quit being so creative. It's just it's making more work for you.
They're teenagers now, man. I don't get jacked.
One boy, one girl?
Yep.
Yeah. Good for you.
I don't get jacked from them now, but I got a few things from them when they were cute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we heard a lot from Scott, but I think we have another guest here that we haven't introduced.
Yeah, I brought an employee.
Yeah.
Is he allowed to be on?
Yeah, I let him go.
Did you find him from ZipRecruiter?
No, we actually. How about a titty recruiter?
Yeah.
Does he have
I met him at a strip club in Vegas.
That's fine. That counts.
I hope he has a dirty mouth.
Because he's bottomless, right?
He's bottomless. I just let him go. I'm the owner. I got to watch what I say.
That's right. Yeah. You don't want to.
I don't have to watch it.
How's that sexual harassment training work for this guy?
We don't let him near anything. He sticks to himself.
All right.
He gets to work early. He leaves work early.
Yeah. So this is your brewery you're going to bang on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Let's bring him on.
So how do you want to do this? To where maybe I'm not being seen, or
Just swing this all the way around.
Or put him in front of you.
I think this whole thing will swing over there, right?
Yeah, but he has to be close to the mic.
Can you swing the whole mic over?
No, he needs to be close to the
I
mic.
need to talk.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just
I
put
see.
him in front of you.
Okay. I want to see.
Yeah, you should just get a mask yourself.
We'll see. I love the Muppets, man.
I love it.
I love it. So before we start, I got this idea about a year ago, and I got him on Amazon, and then I found a baby work shirt, and so my neighbor put Triphammer on it, right? The Brewer and
Yeah.
Triphammer, and all brewers have tattoos, so I got those slip-on.
I was going to
Tattoos?
compliment him on his sleeves.
Oh yeah, my neighbor, she cut them down so they're small,
Yeah,
and I was like, I even got a beard, but it didn't look good on him.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all right, he'll be young.
he'll be young.
That's fantastic.
All right, how's that look?
So, hey,
How
Brew.
you doing?
What,
What's up, fellas?
so
welcome.
What do we call you? Brewy, Bruce?
Hold on. Try to change my voice a little bit.
Hello.
I make beer. I work at a brewery. I make beer. There we go. Hey. What up, fellas?
What up,
I know
dude?
I'm the brewer. That's all. You can just call me that.
Brewer?
Yep. The brewer or the brewer.
The Brewer.
Yeah.
What's your middle name? The fucking Brewer?
We don't tell people that. It's the large blue brewer.
All right, cool.
Brewer, how long you been working at Triphammer?
About a year now. Scott and I met at the Craft Brewers Conference in Vegas. I got tossed out of a strip club for giving him Monopoly money. We shared an Uber back to our hotel, and, come to find out he likes Belgian beers and IPAs, and so do I. And, hey, what the hell? He needed help. I'm here.
Bad things happen in Vegas. Or good things in this case, right?
Mix of both. Whatever happens in Vegas.
Stay in Vegas.
It doesn't stay in Vegas anymore.
No, it doesn't.
Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Fairport.
No. It used to stay in Vegas before iPhones. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn social
doesn't.
media.
I know, right? Yeah. All these 22-year-old influencers want to tell everybody what they stuck in their butt in Vegas. I don't know. I'm trying to keep away from that kind of stuff, but hey.
You got 5 fingers up your butt. All right.
Well, that's kind of funny there, isn't it? All right.
Sorry, Brewer.
That's no problem. Let's have a good time with this.
So I'm assuming you're old enough to.
Just don't move the hand left and right, like this way.
Oh?
No, this way. There you go. Back to those strip club days in Vegas.
Woo!
I like your ink.
I made a lot of money.
I like your ink on your sleeves. When
you like that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this one was done in Panama.
Mm-hmm.
This one over here was done in Russia. And, I've been around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around. It's kind of cool. I've lived all over the place. Lived down in Brooklyn for a while. I was on Broadway.
Oh.
I was the understudy for the Blue Monster on Avenue Q.
Oh,
You ever see that on Broadway?
No.
the porn monster?
No.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
I've seen that, yeah.
You ever get a chance to see Avenue Q and the porn monster?
Yeah.
I was his understudy. Walked into a craft brewery in Brooklyn, talked to those guys for a while, fell in love with it, and here I am.
You were a stunt double.
Now you're with Triphammer. So what's your
Triphammer?
what's your favorite beer there?
Honestly, it's pale ale. It's called Hard Road Pale Ale. Remember Scott told you that story about the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, we said those guys never opened up, so fuck them. We named a beer.
Politely fuck them.
Yes.
Yeah. Or not so polite.
Fornicate them.
Fornicate. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we not say the F word?
No, you can say what you
Can't
want.
say.
All right. Fuck it.
We've been.
You got 5 fingers up your butt. It's okay here.
Yeah, 3 fingers, 5 fingers,
So
whatever.
So Brewer, you started at Triphammer. How was your first week?
Not bad. It takes a while to get to understand to work with Scott.
Yeah.
He's kind of nice. Gets angry, throws shit. But
Yeah.
I get it. We're just trying to make the best beer we can, and it gets frustrating sometimes, and sometimes you got to throw shit.
Well, you don't have any scars. Looks like you're good at dodging.
Yeah, well, I am shorter than him. That's kind of hard to do. He ain't the tallest guy around, you know what I'm saying?
What's the interview process like?
Honestly?
With Scott, yeah.
Well, after I saw what he did at that strip club in Vegas, there really wasn't an interview process. I kind of got the job because I won't tell anybody what happened.
Right, yeah. So blackmail.
Blackmail is kind of how it works, you know? I mean, this day and age, people want to talk about it's what you know and who you know. It's like it's what you know they did.
No, it's actually not what you know, it's who you blow.
Again, like I said, I know what he did in that strip club.
All right.
And it stays that way. I love it, Brewer. I'm so glad you could make it. Did you drive half the way, or Scott drove the whole way?
No, Scott drives.
Yeah.
You know, I have a hard time reaching the pedals.
Oh, I see, because you're shorter.
Yeah,
I
I'm
see.
shorter, and,
Yeah.
you know, I got my own special little electric scooter back in Rochester. But, you know, when we go distance, Scott drives. You know,
I
I'll drive
see.
back because I think he's had a couple beers. But,
You use the scooter in the brewery, or?
yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the bags of grain. Scott still has a purpose, but, you know, I tell him what to do.
So, you get your own, people follow you? You got an Instagram page, anything? Facebook, nothing? For
I've been
yourself?
doing a lot of the social media for Triphammer. You know, if you check out our Facebook and Instagram and doing a little TikTok. Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
interesting.
We're going to get into
Little-
TikTok, I think.
doing little songs, telling people about the beers, you know, just
Yeah.
having a good time.
Your fan base is growing. You got a good follower.
I got 5.
5.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
You got to start, yeah.
We're gonna
We start-
fix that.
We start at the bottom and
Yeah.
we go up.
Do you have? do you have? I love it. Do you have? Do you have like a separate following, or are you just under Triphammer?
We're just under Triphammer for now.
Oh, I see.
You know, if I ever break out and, you know, I'll ditch this loser and get my own shit. But, you know,
Yeah.
Get my own shit.
right now I'm just helping him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, he needs a young one like you. You know,
Yeah.
creative and you know, blue.
Yeah. Somebody who doesn't bitch how sore he is all day long.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you know.
I see.
Let's talk about your family life, Brewer. What do you got? You got a side piece? What's happening here? You got plans for a family, or how's that going to work?
I think.
I'm pretty single. Pretty single.
Pretty single?
I'm pretty single. Yeah, I've been meeting people in Rochester, but you know, it's a family town. I don't know. You know, it's pretty diverse. It's kind of. I've been trying to find online the furry. Was that what they call it? The community furries. People like to dress up in felt and stuff. Because you know, I'm felt.
You prefer blue?
Oh, you're felt for sure.
Yeah.
Look, you're being felt.
I'm being felt. I am felt. I love felt. Felt. Wait for our felt hazy IPA to come out soon.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Are you
You're going to felt it.
Does it have to?
That's the best that I felt.
I felt you.
Feel that?
Well, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying some of the brews that you're brewing, and maybe one of these days you can introduce us to the new blue felt chick.
I go for green.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
I got open, you know, but
You're freaky.
You're very progressive. I like
Yeah,
that.
like
that's
Yoda.
right. Hey, I grew up on the West Coast, East Coast, Mid Coast. I take it all coast. You know what I'm saying?
Yoda's sister. That's what you need.
Dig Yoda. I dig Yoda. Could
Not
you imagine?
Yoda. Yoda's sister.
I
I mean, you can dig Yoda if you want.
I know. You imagine Yoda with a wig
Yeah.
Yeah.
and about 300 years younger.
Yeah. Plus, he's got those ears to hang on to. That's cool.
They lived for 800 years. What kind of experience? What kind of shit do you think that guy was into?
Oh yeah, he's got some stories,
Oh,
and I got some questions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think he did on that planet? Dagobah?
Yeah. Okay.
Dagobah.
I get that. That's the Italian. That's the Italian planet.
Easy. I do live in Rochester. Careful.
All right. Sounds good.
Do you have? Well, hold on. Do you have?
I'm getting in trouble here.
You have your own apartment? Like, where do you live?
You know, I got a studio in downtown Rochester.
Is it in the back of the brewery?
Nah, Scott won't let me stay there. He doesn't trust me. No, and you know, you've been there. You ever been there at night with the lights off?
No.
It's the spooky shit, dude.
Yeah, but it's easy to bring the chicks there.
They're not scared. We had true story. We had ghost hunters come in last year.
Really?
To your brewery? Yeah.
Yeah, true story. They came in, hung out till like 2 a.m. Come to find out, there is a dead gangster in Rochester called, I think it's Tommy the Hammer. He was
Tommy the Triphammer.
He was a hammer, all right. And he was a hitman for the mob. And like back in the 60s, he took like 8 bullets to the face.
That's more shots than Jenna Jameson took to the face.
She's looking rough lately, by the way.
By the way, yeah.
By the way.
And Pam Anderson.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Looking rough.
Yeah.
Big fan. Looking rough. So Tommy the Hammer supposedly is haunting the brewery.
Did he die in that area, you think? Or
History says no, but that doesn't mean the ghost couldn't come and hang out there.
Who asked the ghost hunters to come in? Like, was it?
Oh, they called us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
They called us. I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's one way we can find out, and we learned this from other Ghostbusters. If you put
Don't cross the streams. Is that what you learned?
Yeah.
no. So if you put some,
You pee with your pants down your ankles.
if you put some, if you put some powder sugar on your face and go to sleep at the brewery, and if you wake up and it was smeared, you were teabagged by a ghost.
But it was sweet.
One, I want to be awake for that. And two, seriously?
You say,
They didn't tell us that.
yeah, see, he's gonna look at Scott. Scott, are you a ghost?
Yeah, I'm going to check his balls tomorrow, see if they're white. That ain't no ghost. That ain't no ghost. You snuck back in. You know the combo. You know the code or the alarm won't go off. Come on now.
Yeah.
All right, Brewer.
I want to hear a funny story about Scott.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, tell us.
So when we first opened up and we were excited, and he was excited about having a brewery, this is a story I was told, passed out in his office one night.
Drunk?
Yep.
Okay,
And
cool.
Instead of driving home, said, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to pass out on the couch.
On his own beer.
High on your supply. That's what it was.
Yep,
Yeah.
on his own supply. And so everybody left when we closed. And instead of waking him up, they just left and turned on the alarm. Gets up
With
in
a
the middle
motion
of the-
sensor?
Gets up in the middle of the night because he's old and he has to pee. Turns on, the alarm goes off. He's still drunk. Does not know how to turn it off. Forgets the code. Totally forgets the code. I call him, and he's just like, fuck it. Just call the cops. I don't give a shit. It's 3 a.m. Blah,
He
blah.
couldn't remember 111.
No. It's not complicated. Trust me.
It was vague. It was a 696969.
Yeah. And so sits out on the steps.
Just waiting for him to come.
Yep. Fire department shows up. Truck. Everyone dressed. He's just sitting there drunk going, yeah, sorry. I didn't know. I forgot. Yeah, I'm just drunk. Mm-hmm. And they all laugh at him and pull away. Then the cops show up. Same thing. And so to this day, I'm sure the police and the fire department in that town are like, remember that time at 3 a.m. when he couldn't turn off his alarm and he was drunk?
Well, to fix that, there's one simple word. Donation.
Yeah, a little late for that.
It's weird how they would send the fire department first for like a burglar alarm.
You got me, dude.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. But that did happen.
Yeah, I imagine it did, and that's probably one of many stories you have.
He won't tell me anymore.
Brewer, did Scott find firefighters hot?
He found them like most small town firefighters, overweight, and I can't believe they put out fires.
Was there any green firefighters for you?
Oh no, there's no ladies. No.
All right.
No ladies in that fire department. Sorry, or police
all right.
department, as far as I know.
Well,
But I'm trying to stay out of trouble.
Brewer,
Got it.
Brewer, do you want to add something else before you go?
Like what?
Is there anything we haven't asked you, or you wanted to share?
If you guys just come and hang out and check out our shit, we make good beer. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, just working hard, doing what we do. Scott and I are having a good time there. We hang out alone a lot,
Yeah,
talk a lot to each other a lot.
getting drunk on your own beer.
Well, what else am I going to do?
Right, I agree with you.
I like it. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. I mean, he makes good stuff. I mean, the first beer I made was our light beer, and we didn't bring it. That dumbass didn't bring the light beer that I made. Yeah,
Well, now it gives us a reason to go over there and see you again.
yeah. Come and hang out. We can do a TikTok.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brewer.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Thanks
you.
for having us. We appreciate what you do. Matter of fact, we were watching one of your shows a little while ago. It was a dude that goes to 5 restaurants a day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eat local NY.
Yeah. That guy was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That guy was pretty interesting.
Anthony's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. We saw that. That was cool.
Thank you. Well, thanks for checking out our stuff.
We got to go to 5 breweries a day.
Oh well, I actually
help us help you people.
I was in Corning. I was in Corning, and I had
Go to
this.
4 in Fairport in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Corning, and I had an idea. I'll talk to you, but something we could do where we rent a party bus and we go to different breweries, like wine tasting. But we go taste brewery beer.
We do lives from there.
Yeah, and then we'll broadcast.
We did that a few years ago, and this is the last thing I'll tell you, but it's nothing good can happen to us without something equally bad happening.
Yeah.
Well, we're expecting something.
That's called karma.
Karma hates Scott. He just hates Scott. Scott rented a party bus, took all the employees out. We went to our best accounts in Rochester, 20, and everybody got to bring a friend. So 20, 30 people on a bus. We went to a bunch of different bars around Rochester that served Triphammer. Had a great time. Great time. Barely remember the end of it. Left my least experienced bartender to watch the tap room.
Oh,
Wonderful woman. She's a neighbor. Beautiful. Older. Never bartended, but she was great behind the bar. Just helping us out. SLA decided to do a sting.
Oh.
And we failed. Shouldn't have failed, but we did.
Yep.
So waking up hungover the next day after thinking about the amazing time we had with our employees and going to different accounts. The accounts like to see us pull up in a bus, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden there was like, hey, did you know the SLA was here yesterday and you failed? Fuck me what?
Yeah.
Fuck me what?
Yeah. Kick me in my non-existent nuts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we failed. We did. We got fined. Never happened again. We didn't mean to happen that time.
Sure.
But it's just, that's a good example of fucking karma.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
well,
thanks
it happens. No, we're happy to have you. Always welcome back. Anytime you're in town. I know your first time in Baldwinsville, but maybe not last.
I know you got Sammy Malone's next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find you a felt friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try Tinder.
Tender and squishy.
Yeah. Tender and juicy.
There we go. There we go.
Well, thank you, Brewer. Nice meeting you.
All right, thank you.
Adios.
That was fucking funny.
That's off. So yeah, when we were talking online, or I don't know if it was text or Facebook, what the fuck it was. I knew that there was a new person or a new thing you had hired. I wasn't putting it together, but such a great asset though, right? I mean, just something different for people to see.
Something different, just like
and fun.
Just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
There's enough people that can tell you that work for me or come into my place that a lot of stress. The pandemic just made it worse. The ever-changing market makes it tough. And so to be able to have fun or try to have fun, I have some of my regulars coming in to go, hey, my cousin wants to know, what's up with the fucking Muppet? I'm like, I love Muppets. I'm just trying to have fun, man. I'm not, we can be serious about this all you want, but every single place goes, so here's my beer. It tastes like this. Come and get my beer.
Yeah.
Or I can just have...
Yeah, add a little comedy, a little play to it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
know if you guys remember, I probably told you, but way back when I did attempt to do stand-up comedy for a while.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And so, I enjoy it.
You're going to have to get a life-size Muppet, like maybe you, dressed as that.
Last Halloween I did.
Oh.
I took him to the party, but I was blue. I put on my work shirt, put on sleeves, and I walked around just talking to everybody as him. And I was blue.
There was this puppeteer who, I don't know if he won, but he became famous from America's Got Talent. David something. He's got the skeleton, the terrorist puppet.
Oh, the stand-up? That's
what's terrorist?
Yeah, the dead terrorist.
The dead terrorist.
Dead terrorist. It's a skeleton.
Yeah, it's a skeleton.
He does it. Yeah, I saw him. It's Gary something. I saw him in Rochester about 12 years ago. He was at the Blue Cross Arena.
He was funny.
The name will come to me in a minute.
I can look it up.
But yeah, no, he's got the dead terrorist. He's got the old man. He's got a little purple guy.
Yeah, those ventriloquist people are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah,
Just the multitasking and
I can't ventriloquist, but I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up watching the Muppets.
yep.
Love that stuff. So why not?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. It's fun, and you know, people should realize that, you know, maybe it is tough to work with you or for you or however this is as a job, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when people have associated things, but it's okay to have fun and get the job done.
His name is Jeff Dunham.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's hilarious.
He's funny. But
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, I always see him with the old guy.
Well, he's got the old guy. He's got a purple dude.
Oh, I never realized.
He's got a jalapeno on a stick.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You ever
no.
seen that one? It's a jalapeno on a stick.
I've never seen other than the old guy.
Yeah, no, and he has a dead terrorist.
The Dead Terrace is funny.
So wasn't he part of like the whole? Yeah. So he wasn't with fucking Larry the Cable Guy and
No. Jeff Dunham's been by himself.
Who's the guy with the whiskey all the time? Ron White.
Ron White, who is sober now.
He doesn't drink, yeah.
Oh, he
but I
doesn't.
see him. He's always at the mothership in Texas with Joe Rogan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Everybody goes there.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan has basically taken the business away from L.A.
Yeah. Good. I fucking phenomenal. So there is a local. We should mention this. So the gentleman that's helping us with our event that we talked about June 13th, he owns a bunch of things, but one of those things he owns is Mohegan Manor up the road here. It's a restaurant sort of venue, but he also has comedy nights
Oh, does he?
on Fridays.
Yeah, he has a stage in the basement, I think, right?
Yep. So people should go see that also. But it's I don't know, Comedy Vault maybe, I think is the name of it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
So just timestamp.
Yeah.
So it's I think he just started. So I don't really know much about it because I've not been to that part. But
I haven't really looked into. I haven't looked into stand up in years. I stopped doing it, and well, actually, when I stopped doing it, that's how I got into beer. I was traveling around doing stand up in the Midwest and the South, and I talked my wife into moving to Brooklyn in 2006.
Is Brooklyn tough or what? Is it tough to live there?
Nah, not really. I mean,
Safer than it has been?
you know, I lived in Chicago for 4 years, and Brooklyn, New York City, Chicago, any city, you know where to go and where not to go.
Yeah.
And if you just don't go there.
Right. I mean, if you live in Chicago, you could go hang out at a firing range and you're still fucking safer.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where you go. I mean, I'll be quite honest. When I lived in Chicago, went to a juke joint down on the south side, a neighborhood away from Comiskey Park, with 4 or 5 other people. We drove down there. Go in, and it's a place where you're drinking out of a canning glass because that's what they have, not because it's cool.
Okay.
Music was amazing. We're drinking out of those. We are in a neighborhood you don't want to be in. And I'm not kidding. This is the God's honest truth. When the place closed down at 2 a.m. and we come walking out, there's a Chicago police officer in front of the door, and he goes, "Okay, white people,
Yeah.
where's your car?"
Yeah.
We're like, right there. He goes, "Get in it, turn around, drive through those 2 stop signs, get on the freeway, and get out of here."
He said white people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. There's no
I mean,
racism going on here.
No,
right?
no. This
Right.
isn't an opinion. This isn't anything. I'm just telling you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And we got out. So, I mean, I've had people, I've been asked before, like, "Oh, Chicago, that's scary." I'm like, not all. I mean,
Yeah.
there's bad parts and there's good parts. And we lived in Brooklyn. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And actually, the place we lived in Brooklyn was pretty cool. But when I was there and I was bouncing around comedy clubs trying to break in and do all this stuff, and it didn't seem like it was going to go any further than what I already did. Walked into 6 Point Brewing after they first opened.
Yeah.
And we started drinking there, drinking amazing beer. I'm talking to the owner. They really loved what they did. And before that, the only brewery I'd ever walked into my life was Budweiser in St. Louis. And as I joke around, I'm like, you don't walk out of Budweiser going, "I think I can do this."
Yeah.
You walk out of a craft brewery in equipment that can fit in your garage, and you're like, I might be able to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I started home brewing. We actually, a few months later, we moved back to North Carolina. My wife's from Western New York, so that's why we're up here. But we met in North Carolina. Started home brewing in my garage. Started thinking about, I really enjoyed the business, and I was like, oh, I think I really want to try this, you know. And ended up, my wife wanted to move back here, and I really liked where we lived.
Yeah.
We lived in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're on the coast, the weather. And
Taxes.
Yes, I could tell you about the difference in the taxes.
No hokel. How about that?
Oh, there's that.
Nokel.
But finally, I'm like, okay, I'll move up there if you let me try to open a brewery. She goes, all right. So we moved up here.
That's part of the blackmail we talked to the brewer about.
negotiation
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. It's the only card I had to play, and I played it. It's the only one I had in my whole life.
Yeah.
Sometimes I regret it, but I played it, and here it is. But, it took 7 years to put it all together, get money, find a spot, get equipment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but it's passion, and that's how people succeed. You got to want to win, right? Anything you do. If you're not playing to win, then you don't fucking play, right?
No, exactly. And if you're not passionate about it, or you don't have a really good idea about, or whatever, when something tough comes along, like the pandemic, you're going to pack it in.
I like.
Someone else?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I liked Chicago when I was there. We visited. We went
It's my
to
favorite city.
we went to a wedding. We did the river tour through the
The architectural tour on the river.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We did the crazy boat, the fast boat on the water on the lake there.
Oh, yeah?
You get splashed and
I did booze cruises out there.
Oh, nice.
You go on a big slow boat. You just
We,
go back and forth while you just drink for 3
We went
hours.
to a restaurant.
Good.
We went
Brewers,
to
probably, that's where you met him.
went to a restaurant that was right on the water. It was nice view. Big body of water, no sharks. I mean, can't fucking beat it.
No, and it's blue.
Yeah, it's blue.
It looks like the ocean. Lake Ontario is green.
Yeah.
And
it's
who doesn't
cool.
like a big body with no sharks?
Yeah. Brewer likes it because it's blue.
Yeah.
And
No, he wants green.
Yeah.
oh, that's right.
He likes
yeah.
algae. He's a sick fuck.
I'm scared to death of sharks. I lived in North Carolina. I did not get in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to my wife and I before we had our kid or dogs. We did a trip to North Carolina, and then we took a ferry to these islands, and you can drive on the beach and set a tent whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it said, "Look out for sharks and alligators."
So you were in Ocracoke? Was it a big long ferry?
It was
Were you Outer Banks or south of it?
like south of Outer Banks, I think.
Okay.
There was it's near Cape Lookout.
Yeah. I mean, there's this 6 mile long Ocracoke Island that you can camp out on and drive on the beach.
Maybe that's what it was.
And there's no car. I mean, the car is the car you bring out there because those ferries are car ferries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
It's
Cape
beautiful.
Cape Lookout lighthouse was driving distance from where we were camping.
Oh, so you were on the southern tip of the Outer Banks.
Yes. So we actually drove our car to that lighthouse, checked it out, and then we swam in the sound side. But on
Sharks still get in there, man.
I know I didn't go deep, but the sign said look out for sharks and alligators. I'm like,
North Carolina is the
fuck alligators are
northernmost
doing here?
state that has alligators.
on the beach.
What is it?
North Carolina is the northernmost state that has
So
alligators.
you know what? I don't want to go look for this, but I think I want to fight a shark. Like I would fight a shark.
Fight?
Well, yeah, I mean, fucking alligator's gonna death roll me and shit. I'm gonna get all dizzy. But if a shark, I'm not gonna go look for you, like fucking provoke the shark. But if he bites me, I'm gonna fucking punch you. I'm gonna stab you in a big fucking bulgy
I
eye.
think you'll be able to punch him after he bites you.
No, I could do it. If he's on my leg, I got free arms.
Okay.
But, and I don't want this big fucking giant fucking whale shark, big fucking, I mean, like a little guy that's like a couple hundred pounds. I
Well,
think I
whale
could take him.
sharks don't harm people.
Is a whale shark her name? No, I was just talking about the
There is
size of
whale
a whale.
shark.
I'm talking about like a little shark that comes in. Is like maybe he's like 6 or 8 feet.
So
Like,
what
I'll
you
beat you up.
so what you're going to get in the Carolinas or North
I
Carolina?
can do it, man.
So I watch Shark Week every year for a long
With
time.
megalodon.
No, it's the bull shark.
Oh yeah, those are fuckers.
There's a lot of them in North Carolina. The water is brackish, so they can't see very well. Now, this used to be a stand-up thing I used to do. Do you know why? One of the reasons why bull sharks, 2 reasons why bull sharks are more dangerous than most other shark. One is they can survive in fresh water, so they can go up rivers. You know, a great white can't go up a river. If it goes up a river, it dies because it's no salt water.
That's the one I want to fight.
in fresh water.
And a bull shark has more testosterone than any other shark. So it's already jacked up.
So he'll kill you and fuck you.
Sorry, Jack.
It's already jacked up. So I used to have this joke on stage. I don't know if it's any good anymore. But I'm like, man, they tell you, the experts say that if a shark attacks you, you're supposed to punch it in the nose or dot it in the eye.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, fuck that. A bull shark gets me. Just reach around and jerk it off, man. That's all it wants, man.
Have you ever seen a shark?
Give him a reach around.
Give him a reach around and make him happy.
How do sharks fuck? That's kind of weird.
Just like any other fish, I guess. I don't know.
How's any other fish
lay
fuck?
over another? I don't know.
No, I think they just fucking go by and squirt it on and fertilize an egg that's sitting there, right?
Coming from a guy who sends me
Well, you said coming.
coming from a guy who sends me pictures and videos of different animal dicks,
Yeah.
I thought you would know.
We ever watch the fucking turtle fucking a rollerblade?
Oh, so we're at that point of the show, right?
Yeah.
We're at that point.
Well, it's just a little delayed.
2 beers in.
But you ever see the turtle banging the rollerblade on YouTube?
I've seen the turtle rolling on the rollerblade.
No, there's one. The turtle, like, first of all, their pecker like telescopes out.
Sure.
And then at the end, it's got like bat wings. Pew! And I don't remember to lock you in or something. But he's like,
yeah, it's got to
he's
hold
like
on.
banging a rollerblade. He's like, beep, beep. I don't know. I think of rolling when I see him.
I'm good. And I'm not fighting a shark.
But I think the fish don't have sex. I think it squirts their little fucking man jam, their population paste all over the eggs at some other.
How does it go inside?
You're right. Well, because I used to see these on TV.
Oh yeah,
the
sure.
fish would
Scott.
lay the eggs down on the ground.
Yeah, your algorithm doesn't say that.
And then the other guy would come in.
The other guy.
The other guy would come in and,
he like butters the bread.
Dust them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just buttering. He's like, there's the fucking toast. I'm gonna butter it.
Well, where's
It's the whales and the dolphins you got to watch out for. They're mammals.
That's
They do-
right.
They do screw.
That's
How's
right.
a whale screw?
Just like
Like the blowhole?
just like humans do.
You get rid of top. Like it's like refueling.
Doggy style.
It's like refueling a jet. They put
Actually, I don't think it is. I think they get belly to belly.
really.
Yeah.
I think it's like refueling a jet. Like he comes on top of the little blowhole. And
Haven't you ever heard a thing about dolphins? How they're not the coolest thing in the ocean, that you better be careful because you might get raped by a dolphin?
Really?
I never
Male
heard of
dolphins
Is
are
that why people are so happy to see them?
male dolphins are angry with boners.
that. Can you eat a dolphin boner? Like is that part of the tuna?
Eat
Or
it?
like tuna fish.
What do you mean eat it?
I don't know. People eat dolphins. Is that like dolphin meat?
I don't know.
No,
people.
Well, it's illegal, right?
No, that's a dolphin fish.
Tuna? Are you talking about tuna?
That's not a dolphin.
A DOLL fin.
That's not a dolphin. That's a DAUP.
Okay.
That's a dolphin fish, not a
right.
dolphin.
I might be a little. I started earlier than you fuckers. So
Quite all right. I thought the same thing the first time I had dolphin on a menu.
the first time you tried, you're like, "Fuck, this
Is
isn't
that
work.
why?
I'm like, is this Flipper? I'm like, man, I'm from the Midwest. I don't know. Yeah. And they're like,
You know, in waterfalls.
I was in.
we don't go chasing them because you're not going to find them.
Good one. I was in Outer Banks near. Is it? What's the
Oh, this is your story.
Coral City? What's the one of the towns?
Corona?
Corona. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Scott.
North of Corona. I forgot the name of the town. But anyways, we went out and I was using the sea kayak, right, the open one. So I get out there and then I see dolphins. So maybe they were excited to see me because they were going to fucking rape me. And I was like, cool, dolphins.
Ooh, you look supple.
now I'm going to be worried when I
Quickly,
see
you think you're their type.
Is there,
Yeah, you're a supple, hairy man.
who wouldn't want to hit this?
Did you see? Hello, but so I saw. I don't know why I'm thinking about this. Like we're all talking about fornication, but they cloned a woolly mouse, like from like a woolly mammoth thing.
Really?
So I think they're saying that they can clone a woolly mammoth maybe within 2 years.
Who they?
Whoever posted the picture
China?
is a scientist. No, probably fucking Brewer and Scott. But I did
We
see
need a mascot.
We need the mascot.
mascot. Oh, that's the next beer you need, mascot.
Yeah.
But
Prison City has mass riot. I think they can have.
Oh, yeah.
We don't
That's
need
right.
mascot.
So I saw a picture of it, and it was it's like a mouse, but it's like really super hairy. It was really, I don't know. Yeah. Look, I talk about shit. I don't know what I'm doing. I mentioned something. I hope someone else knows the details.
It's
I don't
either,
pay attention to it.
It's either you have a lot of free time at work or you sit
No,
on
toilet
the
time.
toilet
This is
for
toilet
a
time.
pretty long time.
Toilet time, yeah.
Well, Scott came here to talk about beers, and now
Do
you're
we
talking
need
about.
woolly mammoths? Do we need them?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, do they taste good? Is that the point? I mean,
I don't know. Are we shortage of
Maybe you
food?
can use them like AT-ATs, like in Star Wars when you fucking shoot them, you get inside them to stay warm in the tundra.
Well, it was just May the 4th.
Yeah.
It was. Actually,
I got a meme I got to post. It says it's like R2-D2 and C-3PO.
And by the way, if you look at the Moss Hazy can, that's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah,
I saw that R2D2.
who
Moss Eisley, the town.
yeah, okay. My wife's a huge Star Wars, like huge to the point where she knows every dialogue.
Oh, no shit.
It's unbelievable.
She can
It's
speak
crazy.
R2D2.
It is crazy. But this meme I was going to tell you about, it's got C-3PO looking at R2-D2, and it says, R2? He goes, am not. So fucking stupid. R2, am not.
Stupid, but it's fun.
I like it.
Oh, man.
So what's new for Scott? What's going on? You got you're expanding. You're gonna triple your capacity. You're moving into a different state. Any of this? Gonna have a stripper pole put in? Nothing.
We're talking about how to get more people into the tap room, and I'm always like, if I put stripper poles in here, I don't know if I can get more people in here. That's my stripper pole.
Yeah. Well,
But no, we're just trying to. A lot of things have happened in the last 4 years. I mean, the pandemic. The front half of our building has been renovated and redeveloped. So now in the parking lot, we have 2 other breweries and a distillery and myself. So there's a lot going on there.
the distillers, they share a wall with you, right?
Yeah. The distillery was there first. I was the first one to come in with a tasting room. And then a couple years later, they put in their tasting room. And then a couple years later after that, a developer bought the front half of the building and redeveloped it. So it's great for the village. It's a beautiful looking building now. We got pickleball, like I said, 3 breweries, restaurants, bars. My lease is up in like a year, and I have an extension if I want it. And so my partners and I are trying to decide what we're going to do. Like we were talking earlier, personally, I think the future of beer, if you want to survive, is to add a kitchen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, just because you're a tap room and you make your own beer, I've been there, done that. People are not as excited about it now as what they were 6 years ago.
Because so many have opened up.
So many have opened up. I
yeah.
think that's part of it. Part of it, when we started the pandemic, everybody drank too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then everyone went, oh, crap, I'm drinking too much. And so they pulled back. And another thing, now weed's legal in New York State.
Yeah.
So people have options, more options than before. And if you open up your phone and turn on social media, every other video is an influencer telling you how much better their life is now that they don't drink anymore.
I don't agree with that one. I'm okay with whoever thinks that, but that's not me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm not saying I agree with it. I make beer for a living. I'm just saying that's what, everything is constantly changing. And so how are you going to change with the times and be able to still be able to grab people's attention, still have something, like you mentioned the kind of beers I have, I'm all over the place because if you walk in my place, I want to have something for you. It might not be your favorite, but if you're a dark beer drinker, I have a coffee porter right now. If you like wheat beers, I have my wheat beer. If you like sours, I have those. IPAs, obviously. Lager, I have a light lager right now. When I don't have that, I have a Pilsner, and I make Mexican lagers and all those things. So right now, honestly, we're just trying to figure out what the next step is. We have so many different things. Like I said, I want to put in a kitchen at some point. But we're trying to decide, is the location we're in, is that conducive to actually doing that?
Is there room for you to expand where you're currently at?
There is.
Okay.
There is.
Because you don't need a huge kitchen, you just need an
yeah.
adequate kitchen.
Just need an adequate kitchen. But as awesome as my building is, it still is 100 and some years old. It has its issues. I don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
And I know you don't need air conditioning a lot in New York State, but if you want anybody in your place in July and August.
But you can let the outdoor in. Like, do you have overhead garage doors, those things?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. But we still get, a few days where, I'm used to the humidity. But if you grew up in Western New York and you don't have sweat glands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You got fans in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say we're just trying to figure what the next step is.
So you got options, and you're looking at everything. So there's an option to not be there, or there's an option to be there.
Yeah. I don't have an answer on what it's going to be.
But the other option is something's going to be done.
Yeah.
You either one way or another. You're still gonna.
Something's got to be.
You're still gonna do what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I did healthcare for 17 years before this. I've been doing this for 10, and I'm kidding with my wife. I'm like, well, what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
Who's going to hire a 55-year-old to do something?
I think
I might as well just keep making beer.
Yeah.
I think adding.
Sorry, Roman.
Yeah.
Real quick. That's right. But the passion is to do what you're doing now.
It is.
You're not defaulting like I could go back. Yeah.
No,
or they're
no.
not going to hire 55. You want to do this, and you're going to do this.
I want to do it. I love making beer. I think I make good beer, and so I love doing it. Do I love the aspects of running a small business? No.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
How much fun would it be for you if you're not running it? If you've got to answer to the man, someone else, now
Right.
you're like, well, what am I? Yeah, that's fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
grass is always greener, right?
Yeah.
And, I have to remind myself, I was just in Indianapolis last week at the Craft Brewers Conference, but I grew up pretty close to about an hour and a half away, so I have a lot of friends there. And they asked me, they're like, what do you think? I'm like, hey, look, man, I'm one of the 9,000 people in the country that own a brewery. That's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, if I'm killing it or not,
Yeah.
it's still kind of cool.
9,000 out of 330 million. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, even though everyone's like, oh, there's so many breweries, it's like, how many Starbucks are there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Exactly.
many McDonald's? How many?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even though it seems like there's so many, it's like, but is there really?
Yeah.
It just seems like it.
And does it really have to be trendy and like, why is it? It doesn't have to be popular. It's just now have become we're out of the stage of like, oh, it's so cool you own a brewery, to like it's a regular thing.
Yeah.
It's just like that's pretty cool. You own a brewery, nice. And what you're doing, adding kitchen, I think is a very important concept.
That was my original plan 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But
There are more
the whole
brewers-
kitchen thing just fell off.
Right.
There are more brewers who are moving towards having food in the brewery because
I feel you have to.
you have to. And I've been saying this.
I mean, I get it for people that don't. It's an expense. There's all this other kind of regulations, but
I've been saying this since we started a podcast 2 years ago. When I go to tap rooms and there's no food, I'm tapping out after the third beer. I need to go get some food.
Well, and we have people
And
leave
then
at
I'm
6
leaving the place.
and come back at 7.
Yeah.
But if I can go there and just hang out for several hours with my buddies and we can have food and beer, we'll stay there longer. We'll drink more beer.
But what kind of happened in the last 20 years is, like I said, the brew pub haze craze was in the 90s. And then that bubble burst. And a few years later, people started, it's like, oh, I want to open a brewery, but, running a restaurant's hard. So they're like, I don't want to run a restaurant. In New York State, to sell a pint to somebody, up until 2015, you had to have food. A brewery could not have a tap room and sell you a pint unless you had some sort of sandwich or something.
Yeah.
They changed the law in 2015. And that's why also the farm brewer's license became popular, because they came out with a farm brewer's license about right before that. And it's like, hey, if you're a farm brewer and you use New York State ingredients to do all that stuff, you can sell pints without food. And so all of a sudden you get a bunch of home brewers and brewers who have no idea how to run restaurants going, oh, I don't have to run a restaurant? And then they opened up their tap room and they were busy because it was new, it was trendy, people enjoyed it. And now, after X amount of years, the tap room only model, people are like, I've done it. Okay, what else? Well, people like to eat. And so now you're seeing people who, and we're getting a lot of closings around the country, but we're also running into is that 10-year lease is up. People that opened up 10 years ago usually opened up with like a 10-year lease.
and a lot did 10 years ago.
Yeah, a lot did, including me. I'm a year from now is my 10-year lease is up, and I have an extension if I want it. I just haven't signed it yet. And so you're getting a lot of closings because at the end of that lease, the landlord gets to say, time for market rents.
Yeah.
You were paying $2,000 a month. Guess what? Now you got to pay $4,000, and nobody has that in their budget.
Yeah.
There was a brewery in Charlotte that closed that said this landlord was going to raise his rent 300%. He's like, I can't. You can't raise your beer prices 300%. You know, but that's how commercial landlords work. You know, once your lease is up, then whatever the rent is what the rent is. I mean, I bought my equipment off a closing brew pub in California. They were open for 15 years. Their lease was up. They're like,
can't do it.
Done. Because they can't do it. And moving a brewery, especially one of any kind of size, is expensive as shit. You know, like one of the things I'm talking about with my partners is, okay, if we move, I ain't renting from anybody.
Yeah.
I want to find a place I can buy. 10 years ago, I didn't want to do that because I didn't even know if I could do this. But now I'm like, I said, because if we move, our business is done at the end of that lease because the rent goes up too much. A lot of restaurants close that way. People think restaurants close because they're horrible. It's like, no, they close because their lease is up and the landlord has jacked up their rent. You know what I mean? And so all this stuff, you know, it was trendy. It was cool. We didn't have to have that. It's hard enough to make beer and sell it in the U.S. I mean, I had to get vetted by the federal government and the state government. You know, they can come in at any time and ask for my records. You know, ATF, A stands for alcohol. That means if I mess up big enough, a black helicopter's ain't landing in front of my place, right? And so we were able the last 15 years to run a business without that added food thing. And we're like, oh, we got food trucks. And that was cool for a while. People don't show up for food unless it's that lobster thing. Is that big over here?
Lobsters?
The lobster food truck?
I don't think I've had lobster.
No.
The one that was on Shark Tank? Anyway, there's one that's on Shark Tank, and it's in Rochester. Everywhere it goes, it's popular. But half of the other food trucks that I've seen in the last 10 years have gone out of business.
Yeah.
I get a food truck in front of my place. That doesn't really bring people in. And so the food truck craze has come and gone. You know, and so now the people who really want to be in this and really want to sell beer, and they're like, okay, how do I survive and make this a viable business? You really have to consider a kitchen.
But it opens up other things. Maybe you can cater, like whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, you can do so many things.
Yeah.
It's just, if you look at the last 15, 20 years, the way beer has been, it's, you know, it ups and downs, and, you know, how do you get through it? You know, some people have made the mistake of going too big at the wrong, or expanding really big at the wrong time, and then getting caught up in that kind of stuff. And so,
well, you got to expand, like you said. It's an ebb and flow, right? I don't know which one ebb is, which one's flow, but like you got to expand at the top.
I feel like
then you can withstand the downturn somewhere else, right?
I feel like when you reach the apex, you need to come up with something before you go, so you won't go down. So you don't do the roller coaster. It's like you hit the right apex. What else? Oh, let's do this. Okay, that's fun. When we're up here now, what do we do next? What's different? Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
well, also think about in the last 10, 12 years, the people who are opening breweries were home brewers. People who didn't have experience in the business, who didn't work at another brewery and see all the things that were going on and listen to the owner about this, that, and the other, and opening a tap room, and people showed up, and you're like, oh, this is cool. People are loving my beer, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get a distributor. Okay. Not knowing what any of that means. And then you get in it for a couple of years, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. There's only a handful of other halves, tree houses, trilliums. The rest of us are the rest of us, you know, good or bad. And what you're seeing now is a bunch of people who now have experience. And that's why it's like, even around here in Syracuse and Albany and Binghamton, you're seeing the breweries going, we need to put in a kitchen, because I can't depend on that store continuing to put my beer on their shelves.
Yeah.
I can't depend on that place putting my beer on tap, because they might put it on tap once, but then somebody that comes in that may be national with a crap ton of money knocks them out.
But you could be the next Trillium. You could be the next Treehouse. Like
but you
don't
could.
say try, right?
You still could, but I'm saying
I get it.
A lot of us are getting more experience.
There's a dance here. Yeah.
It's a dance, and that's why you're seeing some of your favorite places going, I got to put in a kitchen. Yeah. Because the more you can control yourself and what happens at your own place, the more you can weather the stuff you can't control.
Well, especially if you, so I don't know if we're getting off tangent here, but like if you could get a place where it's adequately sufficient for what you need, but you have room for expansion, which is maybe just a parking lot now, but we see that with Lock 1, they're putting in a big, huge, like an event type
They build
pole building barn.
They build a pole barn where
yeah.
they're gonna have more sitting. There's a stage there.
But you can lease it out now to people.
Yeah. And if anybody is listening that wants to open a brewery, I would say one other thing. This wasn't true 10 years ago. It's true now. Location. Mm-hmm. 10 years ago, you've been to my place.
Yep.
You could be in the middle of nowhere and people were going to search you out because there wasn't as many as there are now. And we weren't used to it. Now, I would advise anyone, if that's out in the way and people have to search for you, that's not going to be a good decision.
Research
and location,
Yeah.
just like a restaurant. Location.
But from our point of view, like, outsiders, I mean, we're not running the business. But if you were to be able to take your existing space and put it somewhere else with a kitchen, like, I don't know, maybe you've got a patio, right? You've got something outside.
Yeah.
But as far as the layout and the size of your bar, that's all. It's not congested. It's not inconvenient. There's nothing like, some people you come in like, oh my God, I can't believe this is so small. Or you go left and there's a fucking wall in the way. Like, you don't have that issue.
No.
So it's not, for you, it's not a layout problem.
No.
It's right now a lease, potentially kitchen issue.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, that's just a difference over the last 10 years is like before you're sitting there trying to find a brewery going, where is this place?
Yeah.
You're like, is there really? And you go into a door and there's 100 people in fold up chairs, drinking out of plastic cups, having a good time.
Yeah.
And now, if that was the first place, there's some place in front of it on the main street that people are going, oh, this must be what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And that place back there is going, hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you're doing the same thing, dude.
I think the direction you're going is great, and I think that's what will continue the growth of Triphammer. And I like the idea of instead of renting, if you have to move, to buy. It's going to be an investment, and it builds equity, and it will have potential as a real estate.
You talk to any business owner after a few years, you're like, oh, I wish I owned this place.
And you know that, right?
Yeah. But when you're starting out, you're like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, getting food, and I think picking the right menu is very important. And as far as running a restaurant, if you put a chef in there who will put together a good menu and run it so that you're hands off and can concentrate on making good beer.
Yeah, you got to find the right person.
Absolutely. I think if you delegate and make those right financial, not just you, I'm sorry, your partners as well, that would be a great direction to go. I just don't see how you can fail but having food and good beer together.
And one hidden sort of secret we'll tell you about for success is having a podcast in this place that you start again.
When you're opening a new place, give us a call. We'll do a cover on that.
I definitely will.
Yeah,
I'd love to do a podcast. If any of your
Absolutely.
listeners think that I'd be good at it, just let me know.
Yeah.
and brewers always welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anything else?
I had to pay him to come along, right?
That's okay.
Hourly rate?
The state of New York, man.
I'll give him a pair of pants. How about that?
Nobody does anything free in New York.
Anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
I love what you guys do. Really enjoyed it. That's why I wanted to come over here. I wanted to wanted to see your studio and
thank you.
Get out of my place.
It's small. We're also growing, but we're always happy to have you.
Anytime, sure, for sure. Yeah.
And
thank you for the beers.
And Brewer, thank you so much for bringing this delicious beer. I think from 12 beers we've tried when we were there first time, any of it was disappointing. Everything was delicious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it because you're here. And honestly, I don't like anything pumpkin. If I can tolerate something pumpkin, I'll go with it. But other than that, I don't. Everything else was perfect for me. Pumpkin just doesn't do it.
I drink it all. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, man. If people come to Rochester and stop in Fairport, there's a lot to do. We're kind of hidden, but literally in the parking lot that I'm in, you can play pickleball, go to a distillery, go to 3 breweries that we have there, and we actually have a 4th in Fairport also. We have a lot of construction going on right now, but it's
That's all right. You get in there, you can spend a day there.
Yeah, you can.
Right?
You really can. I mean, I don't complain about Fairport at all. It's it's a cool village, you know. I mean, we don't call small towns in Illinois villages, so I had to get used to calling things villages here.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, it really is cool.
It's not much different than Baldwinsville. I mean, really.
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, I drove in, and you guys are right here on the river, and like
little historic, sort of old timey buildings, but it's safe, and you can, like you say, it's walkable. There's a lot of things that are walkable around here. Like we only have that I know of here one brewery, right there.
Yeah, that's about it.
But there's
As far as Baldwinsville,
bars, restaurants, everything. So it's Fairport is nice when we were there. It's all a lot of brick and trees, right?
yeah.
after the interview, we went to a coffee shop, grabbed some coffee for the road, and it was a nice walk. There was a big plaza across the street.
Unfortunately, we have a big national coffee shop coming into town.
Yeah.
Really?
I enjoy it, but not in that village. That village has 3 coffee shops. We don't need a national.
Yeah.
For anybody listening, go visit Triphammer Bierwerks. So it's BIERWERKS. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, you want to know why I came up with that spelling? I had a friend that I grew up with that I was talking to online who lives in Montana, and I told him the name. I'm like, it's going to be Triphammer Bierwerks, and it was going to be BER,
Right.
Bierwerks, English. He goes, oh, man, do something different. Do it the German way. Do it this way. And I was like, in the middle of the night, I'm like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I've had to change this. No one can get the spelling right.
Yeah.
They look at it and they're like, what is? I'm like, it's the German spelling. They're like, you a German brewery? No.
Yeah.
No,
Tell him how to.
now there's a lot of explanation.
You tell him how to raise his beef out in Montana, or what?
Yeah, no kidding.
I get it.
I was like, hey, thanks a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me that tip in the middle of the night.
But it is unique. But it's Triphammer BIERWERKS, and it's in Fairport, New York. So
Yeah, and at this point, it's just Triphammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And social media?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Are you on X?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, check out there. You posting new beers and events there?
We post beers and events. I do. The brewer goes on there and fucks around a little bit.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think if we have anything coming up. We just had a beer release of the Stack of Bunnies a couple weeks ago. Don't really have anything coming up soon. I don't know, man. I try to be that kind of relaxing place that you come in, that you don't have live music blaring. You don't have, it's not constant event. You can come in. The way I describe it is you can come in and talk to me about beer, my bartenders about beer, or you can go sit with your friends at a table and be able to talk.
Yeah.
Not
No shouting.
no shouting.
Oh, I hate the shouting.
I've always said, I'm like, I just want people to come in and I would love to talk about beer, not shout about beer. It's not that I don't like live music. Fairport actually has a very vibrant live music scene. Almost every other place in Fairport has music, which is cool. And then people come to my place, and I'm like, can I just be the one place that doesn't? Do you guys mind?
But even as a travel destination for anybody going, you make a weekend out of it.
Yeah.
You can visit these 4 breweries, four including you, 3 including you.
3 including me.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
4 including me. 4 total.
So that's fine, but there's a lot to do. It's and you can walk and do it. So like if you want to get like a B&B or a little hotel thing, it's a nice place to sort of just hang out and it's the town itself is good atmosphere and ambiance, but so is your location.
Totally.
So is
You're a
your-
beer lover, a nice weekend getaway.
Yep.
Definitely.
Romantic. Want to go? Ooh, that was a weird slapping sound. People hear that.
Yeah, stop that.
That's Roman's arm. So for the people listening, that's Roman's arm.
Remember, Tommy the Hammer is my place.
I'm Frankie the Sledge. But anyway, thank you, and
Scott,
thank you, the brewer. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making a trip out here. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the followers. And we appreciate every time you post something. If there's an event, we like to reshare.
Yeah, and you do. I see it. I
Always
appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
to let other listeners and followers know that as well, especially locals.
Thank you, Hopped Up Network.
Hopped Up Network, appreciate for hosting our podcast there as well. And we're still doing the giveaway at what was it, 4,000?
Yeah, it keeps changing, but let's lock into 4,000.
All right, let's lock to 4,000. Every time we reach certain goal on followers.
Depends on how much we drink.
do
Every time you
giveaway.
drink more, there's less followers we need.
Yeah.
For the giveaway.
But just want to say thank you to all the listeners. It wouldn't happen without them. So always thank you, Scott, for making a trip and coming. It's always a pleasure to have you and Brewer.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.